So I'm hoping I'm live. I haven't done Facebook Live before, so I'm doing my very best to, hopefully I'm up and running. Brian, am I up and running? I'm really hoping this is like it. I'm gonna pull out of here and just see. I'm hoping it's working. Can you guys see me? Yay! All right, I'll feel better when I know a couple other people are here. And I'm just looking for the event. So this is okay, good. I'm sorry I'm such a rookie here, guys. Oh, good. I see. Hello from Australia. I'd get a phone call right when I'm getting started. So, welcome. It's an honor to be here with your group today and talk to you a little bit about my business. I'm hoping to get a lot of good questions. I'm going to get my readers on. I did a little prep, but I thought it would be fun to start out with, some questions that you might have of me, and then we can go from there. So welcome. I see people from many names I recognize, and then some new names as well. So thanks. I'm Mary Fish, and Kylie's invited me to chat with her Aim for Alaska trip. I hope some of you have qualified, and I hope some of you are close and have great goals to achieve that by the end of September. What kind of questions do you have for me? I live in Tucson, Arizona. I started Stampin' Up! In 2007. I'm a Platinum Elite. I got into the online blogging pretty early on, kind of on a whim, Brian. And it really took off for me. I had some experience. I was in real estate prior to this. I was one of the first people to start a website in Wisconsin back in 1994. So I had a little experience with sort of the power of social media. Didn't have a lot of technology experience, and to this day I get a lot of outside help. But I use primarily online tools, whether it's Pinterest, Facebook, my private Facebook groups for my team, blogging daily to really get the word out about things. So hopefully I'm seeing the questions at least in front of me on my little phone. But if you have, I shouldn't say questions. I'm looking for some questions other than Brian King's question. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you liked the birdcage display. I got that very inexpensively, and I kind of rotate in and out the cards that I get. And I really treasure the cards that I get. I still absolutely love everything about stamping and card making. I'm ecstatic to have a new catalog that's full of super great products. And it's been fun to get new things to try and experiment. I'm trying to figure out what all the dies do and how to mix and match and play around with the new products. Brian says, tell us about your online business. Oh, there we go. Before blogging and before DBWS. Well, Brian, I really just decided I wanted to, actually, I should say I was made aware of what a blog was by looking for ideas. I was very new to stamping. I had no other crafts. I am sort of the perfect person, I'm going to talk about that in a minute, for you to try and find out there. I was a professional. I was taking a nice breather from a long history of real estate, picked it up as a hobby, and then I wanted ideas. I wanted to know how to use these products, and I went to Split Coast Stampers. That's still around. Many of you remember it was kind of the key resource. And then I saw some people were linking to things called blogs. Even though I had a website before, I didn't really understand the concept of how a blog worked. But very quickly I thought, I would love to kind of share some of these ideas with people and some of the things that I'm making. And I was really green. I'm going to be very honest with you. I wasn't very good. But when I got that first comment, when I uploaded something to Split Coast Stamper, Stampers, I just had the fever. It just warmed my heart to know that someone was out there, that I could be creative. I hadn't done anything really creative in my life other than things relating to real estate and remodeling. But it just took off for me, and I was thoroughly hooked. I went to, I think, 2 parties before I actually decided to join, and I decided to join because I wanted a lot of products, and no regrets. But of course, I joined as a hobbyist and had every intention of dropping pretty quickly. But then I thought, as I thought a little bit more about blogs and how blogs functioned, I thought, you know, maybe I could earn a couple $100 a month or something doing this if I really put my mind to it. So I spent about the first year really in the hole, to be honest with you. My time, if I valued my time, I lost a lot of money that year because I spent so much time trying to develop the website and to be found. Many of you know how challenging it can be to be found. And that today is still the challenge, and it's even more challenging because there's thousands of other demonstrators and stamp companies doing the same thing. So that was really important. But I did come into it at a time where I think you had places like Amazon and Google, and people were finding ways to learn at home. And finding ways to order easily and conveniently without necessarily having a workshop. I think people have become more homebodies, and so it's more challenging today to do a workshop than it was before. My business is entirely online, but the times that I do get together and stamp with others, I really enjoy it. I just can't possibly do all of it. And online has really been where I have grown and developed, and that's really been my stage. Doesn't mean it's static. It's always changing. I work hard and I'm redoing things that I'm doing on Pinterest. I revise how I photograph things on a regular basis. I took a hiatus for a while. I was still blogging and posting every day, but I got some outside design help. Now that my remodeling is back up, I'm doing my YouTube videos again, and I'm thinking about how I'm doing them more and more and how to get them positioned a little bit better. I know I need to be doing more Facebook Live. So this is really a rare opportunity for me, and actually I'm feeling pretty comfortable doing it. So I'm like, you know, I think I can do this. So hopefully, hopefully that is helpful for you. But again, my business is always changing. I'm a big believer in having a business plan. As much of a turnoff as that might sound, I think having a real clear vision of what you want to do. How do I want to build my customer business? 1, 2, 3, 4. How do I want to build my team? 1, 2, 3, 4. How do I want to retain my team? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you need to think about budget. I'm definitely a numbers person. I crunch numbers on a regular basis to make sure that my business is both profitable and that things are working well. If they're not working well, I either change them or I ditch them. And I think we have to be ready and willing to say that. I've had many flops as well as great successes as well. So I think it's important to know. And hopefully I can see all of these. It says, were you the first online Stampin' Up! Demonstrator I watched back in 2000? Oh, I was. And gave me my intro to Stampin' Up! That is wonderful to hear, Linda. I thought you were asking me if I was the first online demonstrator, which I was not. But I was in sort of an early group that really ran with it. Thank you for saying you love the videos. I'm back doing videos again. I've set a goal of trying to do 1 a week. I did get one done last week, and I have one planned for this week as well. I think they're really important. I think Facebook video, although I'm not doing it, is really important. There's some key differences, I think, between Facebook video and YouTube video. Here's what I like about YouTube video. It's fairly permanent, and if you really flub, you can do it over. I know everybody says, oh, people really want to see authentic and real, and they're happy to see your mistakes. But sometimes I just really want a video that's going to get played over and over, that's going to come across as professional, and that I didn't, flub up several words. For the most part, most of my videos are maybe 1 or 2 takes. I might start over if I immediately make an error or call a product the wrong thing in about 2 seconds. Then I'm like, oh, I might as well just do it over. But there's some permanency to YouTube that I like, and a chance to kind of make it what you want, do a little bit more editing. The beauty of Facebook Live is that the ones that I have watched, I feel like I'm having a conversation with that person. So I think it's much more casual, and I think it really builds a great connection with people. So you guys may just have convinced me tonight this is the way to go. Let's see, do you use a program to edit your videos before uploading? You know what? I think I just answered your question in the leaders group, but I do want to answer for everyone else. I used to. I now use a Mac. I used to use a PC. I think I used Movie Maker when I had the PC. But I found I was adding so many bells and whistles that I wasn't getting my videos done. As a matter of fact, I was kind of like doing everything in my power not to do the video, talking myself out of them, and it became, you know, just too high of a benchmark for me to get done on a regular basis. I kind of dreaded it. Now, I don't think about it. I just set up, I have the, it's either Acron or Archon, somebody correct me here, stand that I'm using right now, and I flip it down on a surface, and I just roll with my iPhone, and then I upload directly to YouTube. YouTube actually has some fairly decent editing tools, although I do very few edits. There's a few things at the end that I like to add on. I like to link all my videos together for an easy way for people to get a playlist of all the old videos, and I also create an easy way for them to click a button and go to my blog and visit. And those you can only add in, I think, at the last 17 seconds. But that, it's pretty powerful, and I think I used to add all the product numbers throughout the videos. And this sort of it's not an option anymore. And so it forced me to kind of think of, okay, what really matters? And so I've kind of reconciled that it's not that critical. I think it really keeps the video a little more pure, creates fewer distractions. I talk about the products. They have a chance to stop and start. Hopefully I'm saying the product names clearly. And then at the end, I kind of go for watch more of my videos, which is another way to engage people and build an audience, and as well as visit my blog. And I mention in my video, leave me some comments, ask me questions, go to my blog. Those are all things that you shouldn't be shy about asking within the videos. Jess is asking, how did you build your customer base at the beginning? I used a lot of cross-marketing, different means. I still do a lot of cross-marketing, but at the time, as an example, I would post to my blog. I would then upload the project to Splitco Stampers with a link back to my blog. I would upload to I'm trying to think. Oh, not Splitco Stampers. What's the Stampin' Up website? What's our Stampin' Connection? I'd upload there, and then I would link those back. So I was trying to find ways to always be driving business to my blog. Today it's more Pinterest and Facebook and YouTube. Those are the things that I'm using now to kind of cross-market, always trying to drive that business to my blog. One of the questions that I get asked a lot is, you know, I have a Facebook business page, but it's mostly demonstrators. Or I have some newsletter subscribers, but it's mostly demonstrators. I'm going to tell you, awesome! That is great! You want as many people following you. Traffic is traffic. Google doesn't care if they're a demonstrator and they aren't. And here's the real secret, okay? A lot of demonstrators aren't demonstrators forever. I have many customers that dropped as demonstrators but had followed my website for years and they become my customers. Or perhaps they didn't have a rockin' experience in the past as a demonstrator and they want to go for something with more community and strength. And so down the road they'll join when there's that next starter kit option. So really they are also a great pool for your recruiting and for your customer base. So never say it's just demonstrators. They can be some of my easiest and best conversions. They've already been around the block. They know where they know how to place that first demonstrator order. They're really ready to go. Obviously, you don't want to recruit them while they're active demonstrators. That's a no-no. But I'm just saying, not everybody stays in this forever, and I think it's really important to think about it that way. And then also my customer base came from Split Coast Stampers and posting daily and being on top of things. And again, as I said before, I was in a market where there were maybe 20 or 30 of us that were very, very active. It's trickier now, and my recommendation is to find that nice blend of both online, because people want to shop online and they want to learn online, as well as live events. Live events aren't dead. Workshops may be difficult, and I think their days may be numbered. In some markets they worked great, and if they're working for you, keep doing them. In other markets, maybe not so much, but classes and clubs, people that are doing big camps every quarter, those things are right on the list of people that are in the top 100 or just have a thriving business. They don't have to be in the top 100. So I think it's important, and as Brian King mentioned, it's relationship building, whether it's live or online. And for me, my big turnaround was probably with YouTube. Adding YouTube. Even after a couple years, my business was good and I was happy, but YouTube really made a difference for me. I think now Facebook might be that button. I look at my stats and I look at what is bringing the most of that cross-marketing, the most of that business to my blog. And right now that's Pinterest by a long shot. So I'm very active on Pinterest. I have lots of boards. I feel strongly about making sure your descriptions link back to the specific blog post. I use theme a lot. I think people search by birthday. I know as demonstrators we might be searching by stamp set, so I include that as well, or the key product. Let's say it's a die set of sorts. But a lot of people that are in there are looking for birthday cards, sympathy cards, thank you cards. And so I think that's really important to include in your description to make that content relevant and get that best opportunity to receive information to be a part of that search where it might pop up for you. So I think that's really important. Thank you for all the little hearts. Those are just sweetie patootie. I love them. Hey, I've got some ideas for you. I want to share, and I'm going to need my glasses for this, and I'm going to be reading, but hopefully you'll hear me just a-okay. I came up with 7 things that I think you need to think about differently to really run a smart business. And some of these are pretty unconventional, and they might not be the things that you would normally think about every day. But you know what? I've had pretty good luck being unconventional. I really have. And so I think sometimes thinking outside of the box and allowing yourself to spin kind of the normal way we think we need to recruit or we need to manage our downline or to get customers, it needs to be tweaked. And I think I've gotten really good results. So I hope there's some credibility behind that. But let me read you some seven things I came up with that made me a little different for you than what you normally hear. You don't need everything in the catalog. I know it is really tempting, but many of you are on a budget. As I said, I'm really strong when it comes to numbers. I really want to know what I'm spending, not just on products, but so many other things. There's a lot of expenses, but I earn a good income. But I want to make sure that that expense ratio makes sense. So products, I'm very particular about what I order. And no, I don't order everything in the catalog. I know many do. I don't think it's necessary. Right now we have a holiday catalog. Yay. Oh my gosh. But I really don't even need, but I found about 50% of this are must-haves for me. And they're mostly bundles, and more than usual, I focused on things like boxes, the acetate boxes, these, oh my gosh, you have to have these mini pizza boxes. I mean, they're just instant, so easy, no learning curve, great for a class or for a stamp camp or just sharing on a blog or just a quick idea. Bundles are big. They already have the built-in 10%. I'm doing more gift giving as well as cards. I tend to focus on cards, but I'm going to really focus more on pretty little gifts. I think the world is all about lots of pretty little gifts or dressing up that champagne or wine bottle. 'Tis the season. So we want to have more things like that as well as tags. I think it's wise to run a good budget and think about things that the customers are going to get excited about. Bundles are there, okay? They work together. Stampin' Up takes the 10% off and you look like the hero. Those coordinating products are amazing, and I think what Stampin' Up did so beautifully, they started to do it in the annual catalog and they did it even more in the holiday catalog, is it's not just about stamps and dies or punches. It's about the designer series paper. Sit back and look at the Halloween products and how many things those, the Spooky Night, I think it's called Spooky Night designer paper, works with dies as well as punches. And they're two different things. That's great mileage for the products, and that's great cross marketing. So right there, if you're a Halloween person, that's a great option. I just started working with the Quilted Christmas. I think it's a great example of the wow factor. I tend to lean modern and simple. Many people are saying, well, I love to quilt, but it isn't about quilting. It's just about quilting. It'll appeal to quilters, but you can do so much with pattern and color year round. That is a slam dunk bundle, in my opinion. I bought everything in the suite. I wanted it all. I used this yesterday, this simple little box. There's nothing fancy, but I used the little stitched guy here. Hopefully you can see that. And then I made, using the dies and the DSP, these little trees. And so these are 3x3 cards. So again, that's a pattern that I just cropped with the little triangle that's in the dies, and it's on the 6x6 DSP, which is super affordable. Very simple concept. And then what else am I advertising? Well, the 3x3 envelopes are back. And so I just added some more of the designer paper. This will be on my blog tomorrow. I probably shouldn't even show you this yet. It's part of a blog hop, but don't tell anybody. But I shared out more of this paper and the versatility of this set. So simple. Oh, this is actually my favorite one. I love the little gingham one. And again, these are things people can make in about 2 seconds. It has the new little 1/8 inch red ribbon. So I think those are the kind of things that I really want to focus on for fall, or things that, that makes a perfect little gift. Those cards and envies fit in the box, put a ribbon on it, and you've got an instant little gift. And they're food safe, you probably know that. And you can put a cookie in them. I think I'd still put it in plastic, something plastic that's food safe, but I would do that as well. Oh, Lydia and Brian, naughty. You guys are so not posting these tonight. Oh, some people just are naughty. Other things that I've been doing, again, I've been doing more 3D because I have been the queen of cards, but Julie DiMatteo of my group created these little roses. They're so cute and so easy. I just did them for a birthday party with my girlfriends. But again, those are the kind of things, things that place settings, we used them for place settings. I think those are the things that people are going to be looking for fall. Just that one little wow factor. So I'm focusing a lot harder this fall. So getting back to where I was running with this, focus on bundles, and for the annual catalog, for example, I think you should focus on the latest in-color products, and then pick and choose. Embellishments are fairly inexpensive and they're pretty cool in this holiday catalog. So I loaded up more on that and bundles and a little less on some of the individual stamp sets because they didn't really, you know, go to town for me like some of the coordinating designer paper and the dies and the punches. I want things that are people are going to say, oh my gosh, there's so much I can do with this. That's why I want it. So I think that's really important. And I talked about my other point was my second point was that even if you love cards, holiday time is about gift giving and think about treats, gifts, and 3D. So we just covered that. How many of you have sold 10% off bundles? Have you ever sold any 10% off bundles? I'm asking you a serious question. Have you ever sold a 10% off bundle? Say yes. Brian, have you ever sold a 10% off bundle? Okay, I'll take that hard for a yes. Bottom line is, as demonstrators, we do a phenomenal job selling 10% off bundles. But we get so hung up when it comes to that starter kit. So some of you who have heard me before, there you go, there you are, yay. Some of you have heard me talk before. The starter kit, guess what, gang? It's the ultimate bundle. It is just one more great bundle. The big secret to my success is that I have always invited the hobby stamper, knowing if I can help them fall deeper in love once they join. Some of them will do business, and even more importantly, I'll keep them. And that is always my goal. So the starter kit you should really think of as the ultimate bundle. It gives people the option to sell, but not the obligation to sell. And we need to stop selling, in my opinion, the business opportunity because you are losing them before they have just jumped on board. You want to cross the threshold. You want to get them on board legitimately, make them feel welcome, tell them you love the hobby, and help them fall deeper in love once they join. That means you've got to have a good community on the other side. That means you've got to have communication, whether it's Facebook groups or a weekly newsletter to your group or get-togethers. You really have to build that community. It's critical to making that strategy work. But it really works. People aren't afraid to join my group. They know there's no strings attached. I just want you to try it. I want you to test drive this. And that's how you sell it. It's a great bundle, $125 a product for $99. What an awesome bundle. And you'll get a chance to be able to get a discount for at least a quarter or more. Right now they've got through the end of December and technically through January because it's a pending month. That's a lot of time to reach that first $300, but I take all the pressure off. I make it about fun and stamping and crafting. So, as I said, you give them the option to sell, and that's why there's an independent demonstrator agreement, and they want to read it through so they know what the options are, and if they decide to do the business, they need to know how that works up front. But they're not obligated to sell. And I'll tell you that has really been critical for my recruiting strength. And then, as I said, I focus really hard on building community, talking about stamping, keeping people stamping. That's probably one of the most important things I do to retain people is really challenging them to keep stamping and talking about the products. So I think it's very, very important. Paper Pumpkin. We just got a new promotion. If you haven't seen it today, I think it starts on August 11th. I'm learning the details as well. But it'll be half off that first Paper Pumpkin kit. And I know some people are like, okay, they're gonna join, they're gonna drop. You know, I only got half of a $19.95 commission or whatever it is in your market. Bottom line is Paper Pumpkin is a great gateway to stamping. So keep at it, keep trying, keep building it. The other beauty about Paper Pumpkin as well as our kits, and this is one of my other points, is just how powerful it is in developing new customers. It keeps things easy for you. There's no prep, there's no cutting, there's no debating how much things are going to cost. It's simple and easy. Many of you work full-time, and what an easy way to get people together socially with minimal work on your part. And like I said, you know exactly what to charge. And right now, it's half price for that first month. What a great way to get people excited about getting together. let's everybody get this kit. We're going to get together in September and we're going to build them together. So I think that's really, really powerful and important as well. This new promotion, go for it. Don't think of it as just 1 month and they're going to drop. I have people drop from Paper Pumpkin all the time, but you want to keep it flowing. You want to keep getting a new influx of customers, because many Paper Pumpkin customers are either existing customers or become deeper customers. I also recommend, as soon as they sign up for Paper Pumpkin, to make sure you offer them the most current catalogs. I believe they should be given to them free. They've already committed to you on one level. Cement that relationship with that annual catalog and the holiday catalog. You want those in their hands because they're going to be inspired. They're going to be playing with paper, stamps, and ink with their kit. You want to help them go that next level. I think it's really, really important. And I think the kits have gone a long way. I'm bananas about the kit in the holiday catalog. Oh my gosh, I think it may be my favorite kit of all time. And it's this one. I actually have it, but I don't want to walk away. But it's this one. Super cool. I hope I'm showing it right. I love the stamp set. I love the simple little images. Here's what I do with it, and it's good for at least one post, and I get a whole bunch of cards. But I do these with family at the holidays. We get together with my sister-in-law, my niece, my daughter, my nieces, I should say, and we put them together, and it's a great time. It's a great photo op, and you get the kit done. And I think, again, showing how people who want to purchase that kit can get together with family and friends over the holidays and assemble, I think has an attraction even above and beyond just making it, you know, their Christmas card kit, which it can be, of course. So I think that's important. Keep things simple. As I said, kits, Paper Pumpkin, this is for people that are maintaining their minimums and trying to just stay active. Keep it simple. You're going to probably need more than just you purchasing. So if you want to get 1 or 2 people doing Paper Pumpkin, joining a club, you know, doing a periodic get-together, doing a quarterly event, those are really simple things that you can do and keep very, very simple. Casing is cool. Casing is cool. So many people spend endless hours and too much time on Pinterest looking for the ultimate designs. Find some and make them, okay? You don't need 1,000 Pinterest ideas in order to find something that you love. Pick things that you just love, whether you've seen it on a blog. Don't spend a ton of time surfing though, whether it's on Pinterest or blogs. You're kind of making an excuse not to create. I want you to see something, know it's a great, I case myself even. If there's something that was popular, a layout or a stamp set, I'll reuse that in some other way because I'm like, hey, they liked this. I'm going to do that again. Lydia's exactly right. We're trying to impress ourselves instead of sharing cute and simple projects. Keep it simple. Don't be afraid. I saw Julie DiMatteo is on here. Julie, I just showed everybody your little rosies because I was talking about how popular 3D is. Julie DiMatteo's rose video was based on another video, and she credits them. And I think that's really important if you're casing, whether it's a video or a project somebody else has made, or, but don't be afraid to case. The catalog, loaded with stuff. And right now we're in the pre-order. Your customers haven't seen this. Now's a really good time to case your favorites out of the catalog because they haven't seen them. And it's perfectly fine to do. Trust me, I check with compliance. We have just this running thing because I want to make sure everything is just on the up and up. But I really feel strongly that casing your favorites from the catalog with the products that you have, it takes about 10 minutes instead of, okay, I'll say this simple little card. The 3 of them probably took me an hour and a half because I futzed around and I wanted it simple, and I kept laying it out differently. So even though they look simple and they're simple to recreate, that learning curve, oh my gosh, that kills you every time. I have some 5-hour cards on me. Anybody else have a 5-hour card they've ever done? I mean, I've done it, been there, done that. Okay, I see some hearts as well. My last point, and I'll share these with Kylie so we can post them later, is a lot of people ask me about customers, and someone else asked a little earlier, and I'm sorry if I've missed some of your questions. You can always ask them again. I'll hang on, okay, at the end. But they'll say, you know, I really don't know anybody who crafts. And you know what my response is? That's great. You really want to look for people who are looking for a creative outlet. They don't necessarily have other crafts. I had no other craft. I thought craft was for little old ladies, which now of course I am. But bottom line is, crafts really are a great creative outlet. And there are a lot of professionals, disposable income, that are looking for a creative outlet. You start with a social event. Let's get together, let's make some cards. You keep it really simple. Don't make it about, I sell this or that. Make it fun, and you might even have to do a second event. But target non-crafters. Target, they don't have any products, okay? They need everything. So that's really important, right? You're not competing with all their other crafts. They don't have a budget that has to go towards quilting, and they don't have a budget that has to go towards knitting. They're brand new. And if you really wrap it up in a pretty little package that this is really a great artistic outlet, you'll get their attention. You might have to ask more than once. But I'll tell you, non-crafters can be your absolutely best targets. And a lot of them are professionals. And they love those, you know, my wow videos are short and simple. And I know that attracted a large professional audience because people could do it on their own time. They could do it in their jammies at 2 a.m. It was just an easy way, if they couldn't necessarily attend an event. And so I think that's kind of why it has really driven business, because it made learning easier. And that's what's made it tougher to do a workshop, because that used to be the only way we would teach and train. So that's pretty obvious why workshops are tougher to do, and why there's been this greater shift to online. But that doesn't mean that stamp camps and clubs and get-togethers and classes aren't important. They are, and they're a great way to balance your business. I think it's important to have a good balanced business. People need a break from life. Lydia's right. An artistic, creative outlet. They're dying for it. And the beauty, some people want to say, oh, I want to learn how to play the violin. Well, that's going to take them years. Crafting takes them literally minutes. And so it's simple. You can make something that's really pretty very quick. Very little learning curve. As I said, my first cards, they're still on split coast stampers. Sometimes I think about taking them down, but I'm like, no, this is part of my journey. Even though I giggle about the photography, the horrific lighting, and the cards that just really didn't have a direction, they were mine. And it was part of my journey in learning and finally coming to the conclusion that clean and simple was really my gig, and that was something that was easy for people to duplicate. Do I admire many other styles? Oh yeah, and I think they're valid and credible. But my style has always been very clean and simple. It's just been easiest for me. So those are my 7 tips, and if anybody's asked a question that I might have missed, please ask it again, because I didn't see it. I have several people in my classes who get a break from caring for a parent. That's wonderful. And again, I think the outlet still matters. Getting classes and clubs, I would even call workshops classes. I just think workshop is, in my opinion, pretty dated. You want to see the cats. Well, they're probably right by the door. I might be able to show you them at the end. You remember the who, what, where of each card I make. Well, I'm really glad, Brian, but I'm a little older, and sometimes I look at a card and I don't even realize I made it. Christine says, I looked at a few of my first cards and thought, what was I thinking? Oh, I know. I can relate. I can absolutely relate. But I did a lot with casing back in the day. I did copy a lot of things, or I would start with a case. I bet most of you find this is true. You start with a case, and then you find by the time you change the colors, you change the stamp set, you change the layout, it's an entirely different card. And that's not necessarily a case. You were inspired to get going, but if it really ends up, substantially different from where you started, I don't think it's really a case. It was your kickstart. but I think that's important as well. Anybody else have other questions for me? I'm so excited to get this Facebook thing, Facebook Live. You guys got me over the hump. I'm really excited. I'm hoping it tapes. Does this tape at the very end somehow when I hit finish? Is there something magical I have to do or press? Lydia says, I still get joy from the process nearly 30 years into stamping. You know, that sounds pretty McDreamy from you, Lydia, but I have to agree. I've been in this almost 10 years, and I have such a deep passion for stamping, trying things out. Some days it takes longer than others, but I still, when I'm done, I feel so positive about it. And I love it. I get just as excited about new catalogs, new products, trying things out. This is an especially fun time, I think, because we have so many new products to play with. And then we'll have a big kickoff in September. I think that's really, really, really important. And I think it's hard to fake it. I really do. So I'm just glad that it still means just as much for me. When I mentioned that during the remodeling of my home, I had some outside design help, I was still posting, but not at the same regular pace. I was getting some outside help, same outside pace. But I really missed it. I was so grateful because I needed to keep my head above water. And that's the beauty of this business. It can be done. I had great talent helping me. But the bottom line, I just plain missed it. I really loved cutting and paper, and I'm so glad to be back and enjoying it once again. So hello, Jennifer. Hi ho. How important is an editorial calendar to you? How far in advance do you plan? I don't know what you mean by an editorial calendar. Are you talking about a blogging calendar, Lydia? As far as how far in advance I plan, I pretty much look at the whole week. And I lay out things that I've made, or I like to use Stampin' Up! Videos. That has been a godsend, especially for people that don't do videos. For heaven's sakes, make sure you focus on projects and products that have a Stampin' Up! Video. At a bare minimum, you're going to have Stampin' Up! Some of the work for you. So for goodness sakes, use those, share them, focus on those things. They show you right in the catalog which ones are going to have videos. So that can help you build your wish list. Again, another really good investment, but really work them, and not just once. Use those products again and share the video again. There's nothing wrong with that. So as far as a blogging calendar, I have a handwritten calendar. I'm one of those people that has used both electronic as well as a written calendar. I use Erin Condren's, for example. But I do plot out my week, and I find that really helps me. Sometimes I'll sneak something in and move things around, especially if I've made a bunch of cards at once, or sometimes I get a little behind and I might be scrambling the night before. It just depends. Sometimes I'm thinking a little more on my feet. Sometimes I have a few things in advance. Videos definitely take a lot of time, but I've now learned that I break them up. So here's the magic. Okay, many of you would maybe do one post for this. I'm doing one post. That was yesterday. Tomorrow I'm doing all of these little babies. Okay, and then Thursday I'm going to do a video showing up close and personal with the products. That's really a threefer, okay? And again, I think I'm really sending it home with doing things like that, but it's also helping me not trying to spend 10 hours a day creating unique and huge content all in one place, and then it's gone the next day. I'm really stretching it out as much as I can. And I actually use the quilting products on Monday, so you could even say I'm extending that suite 4 days, because on Monday I shared a different design using colors and how it can be used for year-round. So I think it's really important. I agree, Lydia. Multiple uses out of each project. And again, when you're determining what you want to purchase for your business, you don't need everything. But those things that can go more year-round or really offer that wow factor with a stamp set and are going to have a wide appeal for that reason are really, really important. Anything else? I probably missed a few. Oh, let's see. tap that. Okay. I had a little banner up the whole time, and of course I couldn't see. Any other questions? How about questions that I might have missed? I can't believe I talked for 45 minutes already. I was like, oh, I told Brian beforehand when I was panicky that I didn't know how to get it to go live. Well, I might have 20 minutes to talk. How do you decide which product to focus on? Well, at the front end of a catalog, I like to really focus on the bundles and the bundles with videos. Even though I might do an up-close and personal video, I like having that professional Stampin' Up! Video to kind of support that as well. And price point, time sensitivity. Well, I think the bundles help sell themselves and have that sort of universal appeal. That 10% appeals to people. I know they're not cheap, but if they get a lot of bang for their buck, I think they're still really attractive. And then I like to focus on the annual with the in colors as well. So I think that's important. And then as we work our way through, I kind of start out with what I consider kind of the showstoppers, kind of the obvious, like the quilt class, the quilt, Christmas quilt suite, or maybe it's quilted Christmas suite. But then I kind of work through and I'll start doing some more alternate projects, like I want to do more 3D and boxes and gifts, and then I might work into some of those sleepers. I try to get maybe a few sleepers, and I actually have some sleepers that I thought would be, exciting. And so I guess, I guess I mix it up. I mix it up pretty evenly. I don't know if there's a perfect agenda. If I think Quilted Christmas is going to be a winner, I'm gonna sing the praises so that everybody's going to get it. And there are a lot of stamp sets in there that require watercoloring, which I am no good. I do not watercolor well. So I've got to really focus hard on getting the right bundles and products, because I'm not going to get everything. And we only really have about 3 months of a customer window, in my opinion. You've got September when they can first start buying. You've got October, but really Halloween's almost done, for those of you that celebrate Halloween. In November, really you're wrapping up by the end of November on Thanksgiving and Christmas. So you really have 3 months. You don't need everything in the catalog. You can't possibly share everything. And again, I would just really go for things with videos that are going to be fun. I ask my group, my community, what their favorites are, and that can guide me quite a bit. Very quickly, they said Quilted Christmas and, oh gosh, Come to Bethlehem, is that the name of it? Those were some of the top, the ones that they were definitely jumping up and down about. I think the Deck the Hall suite is pretty. I like that we have our first mega suite. I love the colors. I love the paper. So I think that's super, super important. And speaking of cats, this is genius. This kitty cat punch. Lisa Preto said today she doesn't even have a cat, and she's bananas over that cat. And what makes it amazing is it goes with the stamp set, and it goes with the designer paper, the little kitty cat. I mean, that's mileage. That's great mileage. And then you look at the treat tubes and the black lace and the rhinestone pearls that are black, the rhinestone jewels that are black. Those aren't really expensive, and they're great upsells. And I think they have the wow factor. So, I mean, this is the Halloween stuff that I went nutty over. I love this page because everything works really, really well together. So, cat punch, cat, thank you, Lydia. I love that cat punch. Yeah, now we do need a dog punch. And I think that would be really easy to do. I know we got the little dog in the staircase set that I almost know the name of, called Ready for Christmas. There's a little dog. At least we got the die. But I think we need a punch. I love the punches. That's my favorite. Punches. Punch Maven. See? You can see all those punches. And I actually, when Stampin' Up! Started doing more dies and my punch cubbies started emptying out, I actually found that I can put some of my extra ribbon in there. Just a little tip for you in your washi tape. And it works out great. Hey, Dawn Griffith. How are you? When will we see your $1 million stamp set? I think I can tell you it's going to be in the annual catalog next year. So, let's see. And ask Brian King, I have no clue about any paper. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Ms. Lydia. I might have missed your comment up above because it's scrolling. And I'm learning how to do this whole Facebook Live thing. So, anybody else have any questions before? Oh, I hear kitties. I hear kitties. Let me see. Boris! You want to bring Boris in? They're asking for him on the call.
Oh, he's right here.
Oh, well, you can bring him in when you grab him. All right, Boris scrambled because everybody came in the door at the same time. So we might bring in a little kitty to wrap up the show. I think it really blends well and is a great, you know. Oh, there's one.
That's Boris.
This is my daughter, Carolyn. This is Boris. You're on Facebook Live, honey. Come, say hi to everybody. You look a little scared. Oh, honey, it's okay. This is your first Facebook Live, too.
Dad's home, so he wants to be with Dad.
All right, okay. Oh, yeah. He loves my husband, so, you know, go figure. Sasha's my little cuddle bug. She's just, she's my little girl, but she doesn't come running like Boris does when my husband gets home. So that's why Boris was right nearby. So that was my daughter, Caroline. She's home. So anybody else have anything else? You got to see at least one kitty today. Caroline waves good. Well, she just marched out to corral the kitties. This has been really fun. When I was talking to Brian and madly trying to figure out how to make this work, I'm like, okay, I'm never doing Facebook Live again. Now I absolutely can't wait. Australian accent, kangaroo. Good day. I'm not even gonna humiliate myself. I'm not even gonna humiliate myself. Yeah, I don't know what that means, Brian, but I'm guessing I failed on my good day. So, all right, anybody else have questions? Good, thank you, Rosalie. See, somebody isn't giving me a hard time. They're being nice. Good. You know, maybe I'll do my team meetings on Facebook Live in the future. I just started using video. I use any meeting right now once a month, but it ain't cheap, and this is free and kind of cool. So you may have just talked me into it. I mean, it's so easy with this, you know, this stand that you talked me into, Lydia. It's just, I love this little thing. So team meetings, do you do them online or in person? Let me tell you a little bit about my team. We have had for, well, I'd say at least 3 or 4 years, private Facebook groups. They are always hopping with conversation. We have multiple groups. One is just general Stampin' chat. One is just a gallery of ideas. Because the group is so large, it would be difficult to not have it a little bit categorized. So we have a gallery where people upload, and as I mentioned earlier, I think one of the goals we need to all have as leaders is to keep people stamping. Best retention secret I can give you. Keep them stamping. So I do challenges to keep people stamping. You know, whether it's giveaways, most of it's giveaways. To me, it's a great investment on keeping them stamping and uploading and sharing, and then they get that wonderful feedback from other people, whether it's a like or a comment from someone else. It's pretty powerful. You cannot underestimate the value of retention in your business and keeping people stamping and enjoying their products. That makes you feel good as well. And those people that start out with pretty modest projects, I mean it, I think my group goes to town on those first because they realize this is a new stamper. We want to give them that confidence to keep stamping, and I have seen people absolutely blossom. And that's really fun to see. And then we've got a group where people can buy and sell and trade. That's called the bulletin board. And we have a social one. So there's lots of things. I'm not going to go through each and every one, but there's lots of ideas. And then, as you asked before, for example, next week we're going to do a party. So I have set up a special group. I do this with every catalog launch, and all week long we're going to be doing polls, and I'm going to be giving away prizes. And there's two reasons for that. It's to get people talking about all the new products and excited about the products and seeing what their favorites are. But it's also drawing some of the people that weren't as ready to join the Facebook groups, joining the Facebook groups. They get over the fear of Facebook pretty quickly. So I advertise that like crazy. It is a big gala for the week. And then on Thursday, and the Thursday of every month, I do a webinar meeting. And I use any meeting, although it might be Facebook Live in the future. And at the next meeting, next week, I'm just going to do a walkthrough of the catalog with them, and I'm just going to give impressions, and they're going to be on the chat. We're going to take a stroll. I call it the catalog stroll, and we're just going to go through that catalog together. But the following month, Kylie is going to be our guest speaker, and then sometimes I just manage the meeting myself, and I might talk about the my top tips for whatever the promotion is, or my top tips for staying active, those types of things. So I might do, they're mostly instructional, but I get far more hobbyists attending than I do business demonstrators, and that's okay, because I want my hobbyists to look over on the other side and see what's there. Because some of them might be hobbyists for 4 years, and they might be a silver elite right now, and that actually is the case for some. And so, I'm very low pressure. I really want people to join because they love to stamp, because they want to be part of the community. It's fine if they want to be part of the discount. It's my job to wow them and keep them stamping, and some will develop the business further, but my ultimate goal is always to keep them. Even if they're just buying for themselves or one or two friends, my goal is all about retention. That has been so important in my business. So Julie loves Mary's giveaways. Yes, I go all out for these catalog launches because I know how important they are to getting the group revved up, excited. Some of them look to those some of the answers on the polls to decide what things they want to have classes on or purchase. So I think it's really important. Very enabling, I have to admit. But that's not always such a bad thing either. Any other questions? This is just so easy. I just can't even believe. And of course, with Lydia's amazing, Archon, we all have them now because they're the bomb. They're absolutely the bomb. I've just never turned it at this angle. Here I am. Here I am. Well, all right. Julie, everybody else can go if you'd like. Julie, tell me where I download. I have something that says finish. Do I hit finish and then download? I want to make sure I don't mess this up. And Miss Kylie, who's in the Philippines somewhere, says, what happened? Do I hit finish, Julie? Click finish first. Yes. Okay, here we go. Thank you, everyone. You're the bomb. I may still be here for a little longer. I don't know what happens next. Love you all. Bye-bye.